What exactly is this sonic wonder weapon the US used against Venezuela to capture Maduro? Well, a few years ago, they straight up showed us they can attack people with invisible waves using a special device called an active denial system, ADS, which shoots a beam of high-frequency microwaves towards a victim, causing them to stop dead in their tracks, vomit, or even feel like they're on fire. A news reporter tested it out for himself at low strength, and, well, it works. What people are claiming they're hiding from us is that these microwaves can affect our minds just as much as they do our bodies. Tune the frequencies just right and they can technically implant thoughts into your mind, which may have actually been the cause of the yet unexplained Havana syndrome in Cuba back in 2016, where dozens of diplomats, CIA officers, and military personnel described a sudden onset of auditory hallucinations, pressure inside of their heads, vertigo, dizziness, nausea, migraines, and doctors even found brain tissue damage similar to that of a concussion in the victims, which are all symptoms of these microwave weapons, and exactly what the Venezuelan troops experienced too. The Havana syndrome event remains a mystery, but it's speculated these invisible frequency weapons were being tested on unwilling victims in Cuba at that time. Actually, it's kind of more likely that these symptoms were caused by LRAD, the long-range acoustic device, a similar weapon already commonly used by police and special forces. These are no secret. An ultrasonic weapon that launches high-frequency sound waves, causing nausea, disorientation, vertigo, and pressure inside the skull of the victim. Sounds very familiar. This one can also rupture your eardrums and cause permanent hearing loss. And I can't help but remind you that this technology has been publicly showcased for over 15 years. Whatever they have now, just try to imagine this, but 100 times more advanced and powerful, like real laser weapons, tested just 2 years ago by Britain's Navy called Dragonfire, which can melt objects the size of a coin from over a kilometer away using a high-powered laser. You already know the US Navy had to one-up them by testing Helios, a 60 kilowatt directed energy laser weapon, fully confirmed and out in the open, which can also fry victims and burn holes through anything like a lightsaber with a 16+ kilometer range. And then there's China, and well, let's just not talk about China. In fact, China isn't even talking about China, and I don't think we're ready for what they're cooking, like this giant supersonic laser death cannon rumored to have been developed by them. This video in particular was allegedly debunked to be AI, but I honestly would not be surprised, because talks of high-powered microwave and directed energy weapons, DEWs, have been out in the open for decades. The Pentagon straight up admitted they were working on weapons of this nature back in 2001, where the US Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld publicly stated directed energy weapons are in the early stages of development, and he looked hella uncomfortable talking about it 25 years ago, by the way. The Department of Defense even had an entire task force dedicated to DEWs back in 2007, and the entire report is available online, which talks about, among many other things, using radio frequencies to simulate debilitating fevers in humans. And if held for too long, it can cook the brain, causing permanent damage and loss of life. A literal fever laser. Even recently, National Defense authorized cognitive electromagnetic warfare as a line item in their budget for fiscal year 2026 at $44 million. What in the hell is cognitive electromagnetic warfare? Are they really using these beam weapons to manipulate our own thoughts? Historically, the technology that government militaries disclose to the public are really what they already had over 10 years ago, and we can bet that's still the case today, because we have high-ranking military officials like US Navy engineer Salvatore Pace, the man who owns several patents on the most insane government technology ever, like a portable fusion device, gravitational wave generators, and, well, zero-point energy UFOs. This man explicitly warned US adversaries years ago about the technology they would use to fight against them, telling them, quote, "It'll be quick, it'll be very dirty, and you'll never do it again." His words. And everything we've seen are just the infant stages of the type of technology they're using, and they definitely used in their raid to capture Maduro. In Fortnite terms, they're showing us PlayStation 1 features when they're already on the PS9. The Venezuelan military security told the world what really happened behind the scenes, and we can't even imagine what they actually have. Some even citing they are using reverse-engineered alien technology from UFO crashes like Roswell and more recent ones like the Boogosphere. The